What's going on, guys? Trevor here. I wanted to bring you a part two to my critical mass video. Some people had some questions, and that first video I didn't go too in depth. I kind of just wanted to put something up quick, just so you could go out and try the build, see how it works, see the skills. This one I want to go a bit more into what gear you're going to want to be using. And I also wanted to show you how I farm Act 2, what areas of Act 2 I farm, and why I think farming Act 2, at least for me, is better than Act 3 because it's faster. Act 3 is obviously more difficult. So you end up getting a lot more drops out of Act 2 compared to the time spent in Act 3. Um, so I'm going to show you guys where I go in Act 2. I'm going to talk a bit more about the build, and then some people wanted to see more elite packs killed, so I'm going to try not to make this video too long, but I'm going to go through some packs and just show you that it can take most packs. Fire chains can be a big problem. Molten shielding's a big problem, but I'm sure we'll run into that, so I'll get to that when it happens. I want to talk a bit about gear. You want a lot of resist. So gear wise, you want to be looking for all resist. You can see on my shoulders I have all resist, my chest is all resist, my boots are all resist, my belt is all resist, bracers are all resist. You want to have all resist on pretty much every item you can get it on. I have it on my amulet. Wherever you can get all resist, you want all resist. Because you need that resist to be able to stand and tank. And you need vitality as well. Now I could swap out the intelligence in my chest for even more vitality, but right now I've been sitting at 40k life. That's been working out pretty good. I'll probably end up switching that out. I don't really have the money to get those 3 gems. It's probably around 1.6 million last time I checked to put 3 stars in there. But I've done it with less. I just recently got this weapon that brought me up to 40k, but I'd been doing it around 32 to 35k. You can do even less in Act 1, but in Act 2 you want to be close to 40k. So if you can get around 40k, which for me is 1,061 vitality, that's a pretty good number to be at right there. The higher the armor on the items, the better, of course. But look for vitality, look for intelligence. And then the main components you want are crit chance and crit damage increased. So on your offhand, you gotta have crit chance and you gotta have critical hits granting arcane power. So you can see on my offhand I have crit chance 6.5% and crit hits grant 8 arcane power on crits. I'm sorry, in the first video I meant just hits, but it's actually critical hits that grant the arcane power. And then I also have it on my helm. This is a great helm for this build if you can afford this helm. It's the Dark Mage's Shade. Basically, it has crit chance, it grants the arcane power on crits, and then if you can find this one where it increases the critical hit chance of Explosive Blast, that's only helping this build because Explosive Blast is what we're using. You don't have to have this helm. I've used different helms. This helm just only helps further the build. On your amulet, again, you gotta have critical hit chance. 7.5% on the amulet. If you can find one with critical hit chance and critical damage increase, that would be great. Those can be pretty expensive though. Bracers, you gotta have critical hit chance. Look for all resist, look for intelligence, look for vitality. I could even have better bracers. I have dexterity on these. I should have vitality. But again, I'm kind of running low on gold here. Gloves, you gotta have crit chance, 8.5%. And you gotta have crit damage increased. You want to look for these things. You don't have to have these things. You can do this build without top of the line gear, but this is what you want to look for. Built, you want intelligence, you want vitality, you want all resist. Rings, you want crit chance. Here I have crit chance, and I also have crit damage. This one doesn't have crit damage, but it has a lot of life. It has all resist, and it has crit chance, so it ends up being a really good ring. Boots, again, intelligence, vitality, all resist. If you can get some movement speed, that's great. I would like some movement speed boots. So there's still some parts of my gear that I could be upgrading. Pants, you want vitality, you want intelligence. I don't have any all resist on these pants. I wish I did, but I'm keeping them because they have a lot of vitality. They have the 2 sockets, they have the intelligence, they have a little bit of life on hit, and they even throw a little bit of magic find in there. So these are pretty good pants for me so far. And then weapon, you don't want to aim for the highest DPS. That's great, of course, if you can find a high DPS one, but what you want is that crit hit damage increase, and then you want to sock it, and you want to put an emerald in there, and you want to get as high as crit damage increase as you can. Because what you're doing is you're trying to build this up. You're trying to get your crit damage percentage high, because you're critting the whole time with this build. So you want a high crit chance, and then you want a high crit damage. That's what makes this build work. And then if you can also find a weapon with intelligence and vitality, well, that's even better. So you can see I have a pretty nice wand, high damage wand in here. I mean, this is a really nice wand. It's got 262 intelligence. It's got really high DPS. But you can see with this wand, I'm actually losing damage here, and that's because I have so much critical hit damage. And since this build is based on critting, it's what you want. I have my old weapon here, which is intelligence, based mainly on crit damage as well. So look for a weapon where you have crit damage, intelligence, vitality. That's what you want. That's what the DPS. You want to be high, but it doesn't have to be too high. Right now my DPS is sitting around 30k. I've had it as low as 20k in the beginning of this build. It doesn't have to be like 40k. It's as long as you're critting, as long as you have good resist, as long as you have a decent amount of vitality, you'll be able to stay alive through most groups here. So that's that. I hope that covers your questions on the gear. If you have any questions, feel free to post them. I'm gonna get a bit into the passives now because people were asking questions about that. I use Astral Presence because it only helps to maintain casting those tornadoes. It helps keep Wicked Wind going. Of course, you gotta have the arcane power on crit, but Astral Presence, I mean, among what else you have to choose from, I think it's been really good for this build. Critical Mass, obviously. Blur only helps you stay alive while you're tanking. Still doing Wicked Wind. Teleport Fracture helps you get away. You use Wicked Wind so that the tornadoes stay right in front of you so you can tank with them. Deep Freeze. Each hit gives you a 15% chance. Critical increases your crit chance by 15% for 12 seconds. So this is nice. So you can constantly, if you're button spamming quick enough, you can keep groups stun locked. You can keep them frozen. You gotta have Crystal Shell. You need that damage absorption. You're constantly spamming that. Chain Reaction increases the amount of explosive blasts going off, so that's been proven to be the best so far that I've seen. You gotta have Prismatic to keep those resists high. So people switch this out, like I said in the first video. No, they'll use Meteor over Explosive Blast. They'll use Spectral Blade over Energy Twister, and they'll use maybe Slow Time over Teleport or Mirror Image over Teleport. You can play around with this build, and even you can use different Frost Nova. And there's the rune that increases damage when frozen, and some people couple that with Cold Blooded. I have tried that. It was okay. I've found that Astral Presence has been best for me. This is what I've liked so far, and I'm not claiming credit for this build at all. This build's been around. I've just been using it and trying to show how it works. So I hope that helps your guys' questions. As far as where I place my keys, my left and right click, I have the tornado, obviously, because you're constantly clicking left click right in here, so it's easy to cast. I have teleport on the right click, just so it's right there. You don't have to look for it. And then my first three fingers are right here, because that's where your button spamming, and then I just keep Prismatic right here on 4. So everything's close, easy to hit, good, it just feels fluid. You're going to want to have potions for when you get into some tight spots. Sometimes you need to get a potion off, and that's also where teleport really comes into play. So that's pretty much the build. For me, with this build, I go with the Templar, because the Templar has the skill to increase your crit chance by 3%. So he's bringing my crit chance up to 45 when it's at 42. So that's beneficial there. You can see he's still level 59. I don't solo much. I play with buddies quite a bit, but I want to show you this guy, this build for soloing, because I know a lot of people solo. They farm. If you can put a frost bow on him, a bow that does frost damage, that way it slows enemies, that's the way to go. I'm actually waiting to put not that crossbow. this crossbow on him here because it has cold damage, so he can slow attackers for me. So that's what I'm waiting to put on him once I get him to 60. Again, I don't solo that often. But before I lose my valor here, let me show you how I farm Act 2. So when you first join a game, you're going to want to check the Qasim outpost. So you're going to want to go to the Qasim outpost, and what we're looking for is the ruins. So you just run along this right edge here, and the ruins will be right here. It'll be right on this right side. It's always only going to be right here. It's a random spawn. It'll either be the crumbling vault, it'll be the ruins, or it won't be there at all. What you want is the ruins. The ruins is a nice place. It's quick. It's got a good amount of champs in it, and it always has a resplendent chest. I know chests are pretty useless now that Magic Find doesn't affect them, but it's still a good part of this run. You don't always have to do the ruins, but when I do it, you get a lot of champs here, and then you go on from there. I'll show you where you go from there. So check for the ruins first. It's good part of my farm run. I like to look for it, especially when I'm doing it with my buddies. So if you have the ruins, from there you want to get your 5 valors. And to get your 5 valors, I start with the Black Canyon Mines. So you got the Black Canyon Mines. Let's take out this guy real quick.
Still waiting.
Screwing up the commentary. Alright. You start with the Black Canyon Mines. You just want to run around through here. You'll usually get 2 to 3 champs, and then you want to head south into here, the lower part, and you're looking at another 2 to 3 champs in there. So you maybe get 4 valors just in the Black Canyon Mines. So once you have 4 valors, I usually shoot to the road to Alcarnis. And the road to Alcarnis, you run up in here, and there's usually 2 champs right in here. So you grab those 2 champs. So then you're up to 5 valors, and you've also maybe killed a few extra champs and gotten a few extra drops. So now that you've been to the Black Canyon Mines, you've built some valors, you've been to the road, you've built some valors, you know the ruins are in this game at the Qasim outpost. You're off to a good start here. From there, once you have 5 valors, you want to check the ancient path for the goblin. If you've done goblin runs before, you know that the goblin hangs out here. He can also hang out at the road to Alcarnis, but this is a high spawn spot for the goblin. So you check that out. And then finally, the reason I love Act 2 is the Desolate Sands. You're looking for the Vault of Assassins. So you go to the Desolate Sands. Now I've already found it for this commentary. It's right here. It can be a bit of a pain to find. The Desolate Sands is big. But what you want to do is, once you have your 5 valors, you want to go beat the ruins, because the ruins is smaller than the Vault of Assassins. You want to go clear the ruins. There's a good amount of champs in there. There's a resplendent chest in there. So take the ruins out, and then hop in the Desolate Sands and look for the Vault of Assassins. And you can there's a lot of champions in the Desolate Sands also, so while you're looking for the Vault of Assassins, you can get some extra champ kills there as well. I would go through the ruins and show you that too, but I don't want to make this video too long. That would be quite a lot of killing and probably be pretty boring. But I will go through the vault here, show you guys how the vault works, show you why I like the vault. It ends up being a big square. Excuse me, it's good to farm. There's a lot of champs in here, as you'll see, and I'll just kind of show you how I cruise through it real quick.
I'm sure it's not time to head back to Caribbean. Still waiting. All right then. I don't have enough arcane power.
So basically, as a guy said on one of the comments, you're face rolling your keyboard, and that's pretty much what you're doing. You're coming into a pack, you're hitting Frost Nova, you're hitting Explosive Blast, and you're spamming Diamond Skin. And the faster you can hit those keys, the better your chances of staying alive. When I cruise through the vault, I don't attack everything. I kind of just run and look for the champs, because you don't really need to. As you guys can see during that fight, ice can be a bit of a problem. I was trying to teleport and dodge it. I didn't do so well there, but basically ice is a problem because it stops you from being able to crit. So you want to try and watch that ice a bit. Teleport out of it when you see it, because it can definitely get you killed because it stops you from casting. And you'll end up probably having to kill these guys, but I usually just cruise through and look for the champs. You know, you're farming, you're trying to be, time efficient. And it's actually nice to build up big groups because when you do find the champs, like I did right here, you can crit off of all the white mobs you've been finding and then head into the champs with your crit chance up.
Need more time.
I only take the 60 blues. You can take the below 60 blues and sell them, but as I'm farming, I like to be quicker. What I do is I salvage all the blues and get the essences for crafting or selling.
Need more time. Your defenses are nothing.
So with these big white mobs, what I'm doing is I'm teleporting from group to group because I'm keeping this deep freeze up because my crit chance with deep freeze is sitting at 60%.
Not ready yet.
So that's really high. That's really nice to have. So you want to hop from group to group while you have that deep freeze crit chance up. Keep that momentum. You keep that crit chance rolling at 60%, and it makes farming a lot faster.
Still waiting.
Alright, so invulnerable minions can be a problem. Same with shielding because you can't crit on them. So what you want to do is you want to try and bring them in amongst a white mob.
Need more time.
Because then you build your crit chance off that white mob and then bring it over to the main guy here.
Need more time.
So the white mobs can be very beneficial when you run into like shielding, fire chains, those more difficult guys because you can keep your crit chance off of them, which helps you to deal with that shielding and not being able to hit them. So try and keep that in mind as you run into those types of champions.
Still waiting.
If you hit Frost Nova fast enough, you can basically keep them stun locked. Sometimes they'll break out of it a bit, but if you're critting enough, you can keep them frozen almost the entire fight. It can definitely be a workout for your fingers after a while.
Not ready yet.
So again, I'm getting close to a couple rares, 2 to 3 per drop. Compared to an Act 3, I do have a higher chance at a 63 level item. I have double the chance here. Here's like 9% or so. Act 2, it's close to 18.
Still waiting.
But the amount of life they have in Act 3 and the amount of damage they have in Act 3, to me, isn't worth it. This is a lot faster, and you have a lot more looks at rares.
Not ready yet.
And I've found some really great items in here.
Need more
I
time.
got some champs over here. Looks like we got 2 pairs of champs actually. We got fire chains.
Need more time.
One that reflects damage. And right there you can see the power of fire chains. Not to mention there was some damage reflection going on in there. The damage reflection isn't actually too bad for this build. I usually don't notice it taking me down too quickly, but the fire chains will just drain you. So you gotta watch out for those. You gotta play with your teleport.
Still waiting.
Try and stay out of dodge. And the more guys around you when you have a fire chain pack, the better. Just so you're constantly critting, you can keep that diamond skin up. So I'm actually going to try and bring these guys down here a bit. It's kind of difficult because they're ranged.
Not ready yet. Heal me.
And they have jailers. So this is going to be a fun group right here.
Need more time.
You want to try and stay on the outside of them. The fire chain groups. Don't try and get caught in the middle.
Still waiting.
Okay, there we go. You can see in that fight right there, I really took advantage of teleport. If they have vortex, if they bring you into the middle, you want to teleport out, try and get on the outside of them. Because you want to try and dodge that fire chains at all costs, because the fire chains just drains your life. No matter how high your resists are, it's really difficult. Fire chains and molten, both very difficult. Excuse me, but you can see there's a lot of champs in here. It's basically a big square, so you kind of just keep cruising around the outside, looking for the champs. You don't have to bother too much with the regular mobs until you need to. You know, as you're running, you can just pop diamond skins. That way you can just take that damage from the range guys. Have some potions stocked up for when you need them. I was using potions during that last fight. If you can't teleport out, or if you get frozen, it's good to have a potion ready.
Still waiting.
When you get too low on life, just go ahead and kill them so you can get the health globes. You can only avoid them for so long. Make sure you keep your prismatic armor up. Keep an eye on that.
Still waiting.
Alright, we got invulnerable minions here again, along with the blue champ with Desecrator. This could be bad.
Need more time. Need more time.
You can see that Desecrator just draining my life. Try and get to a health globe. It's tough because they're shielding, so try and jump over to a white mob.
I don't have enough arcane power. Need more time.
Alright, so you can see on that fight, that was tough. We had invulnerable minions, we had Desecrator, and we had 2 packs at once, which can be difficult. So what you want to do is try and keep that button spam up, use teleport, don't hang in the desecration. I almost went down right here because I was hanging in the desecration. So try and keep moving with the teleport. I'm going to need to sell here in a second. But just keep constantly moving, stay out of that desecration. Keep that diamond skin up. Let's see, need to head bottom right here.
Not ready yet.
My next purchase, I plan to get some movement speed boots along with all resist, Vite, and intelligence, because
Still waiting.
I'd like to be able to be moving a little bit quicker through here, looking for the champs. Just speed things up a bit. You're farming, you're trying to be time efficient. Check this arm down here. See if we got some more champs. Yeah, we got a rare guy right here. Made quick work of him. I'm gonna run to town real quick just to make some room for these rares. This is another reason why I only pick up the 60s. is it allows you to continue farming without having to run between town. So what I'll do real quick is I just salvage my 60 blues. Occasionally you'll get a good blue. You get a high damage blue that could end up selling for a few $100,000. It's rare, but occasionally it happens. But I just still salvage them to either craft or sell in the auction house. Alright, there's another dead end there. Can hit this right arm here, and then that'll pretty much be the whole vault.
Not ready yet.
Let's see what we got on this arm. Maybe another champ pack. Okay, so you can see the vault is basically a big square. You know, you just want to hit every arm. There's even a spot right here I didn't hit, so I'm going to cruise up there real quick. See if we got one more champ for you guys. May just end up being empty, but it's always good to look.
Still waiting.
Alright, so that ended up being empty, but still could have been another champ there. Finish these guys off real quick. Teleport out of here. Alright, TP out of here. So that's the vault, guys. As you can see, you know, I got a really solid amount of rares. I don't think I had 163 in there, which is a bummer. I wish I could have got one for you guys in this video, but you know, oh, there's 63 chests right there. I did have an Archon armor drop. But you get, I mean, the majority are over 60. Of course, on the weapons you want 63, otherwise it's really not going to be that great. But you get a lot that was fast. And then from here, you know, I would go and do the ruins back at the Kasim outpost. Because there's even more champs in the ruins, but for the sake of the length of this video I won't do that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 63 here, see if it's halfway decent. It's terrible. Let's see what other 60 armor we had. Any weapons below 63 end up not being all that great. That's no good. Take a look at this chest here. Not too great either. 62 staff. Alright, well anyways, just wanted to show you guys this run. One person had asked what my current build, you know, what it cost. Most of this gear was, you know, approximately around 25-30 million. I was fortunate enough to find a really nice Witch Doctor offhand that I was able to sell for 30 million. Which allowed me to kind of build up to this level of gear. But again, I want to stress, you don't need this gear, you don't need the best gear. Sure, it makes Act 2 easier and even makes Act 3 doable, but you can do this in Act 1, you can do butcher runs with this. But you know, try and get your crit chance high, get your resist high, get your vite up, and you know, don't stress too much on intelligence, but you also want that as well. But get that crit up, get that vite up, get those resists up, get that crit chance up. Scoundrel with the crit chance, with a frozen bow. You know, just spam your buttons, teleport between groups, and you know, that's how this build works. It's great for Act 2. It's quick. It's a good way to farm. Hopefully Blizzard doesn't nerf it anytime soon. I don't think they will, because it's pretty pricey and it's not too easy. I mean, it takes some skill, it takes some practice, but I'm sure they'll eventually come in and tweak it a bit somewhat. Anyways, I hope this video helped you guys with the critical mass build. Leave some questions, subscribe, you know, leave a like. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see some more different areas, different acts, let me know. I'd be happy to put that up for you guys. And thanks for watching. See you guys next time.